Are you ready to dominate? Because it's time. From Philly to Vegas, Canada to Peru, and everywhere in between. It's time for the podcast that makes the offseason suck a hell of a lot less. From the creators of Dynasty Depot, the internet's only live auction site for Dynasty fantasy football teams. Here's your hosts, Nelson Verbit and Rick Taylor.
This is the mid-season cliffhanger as we were going to go on vacation off of here for a couple weeks, take a break from our greatness here. So tonight, what we have done, we have brought in a very special co-host to join us tonight. His blazing speed on the field inspired St. Francis University's nickname, the Red Flash. And even though it was made famous by the show The League, he is still the majority stockholder of the Taco Corporation. Jeremy Miller, welcome, my friend.
Thanks, Nelson. All true. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on the show tonight.
Man, it's good to have you, and all those records at St. Francis, finally was recognized a couple years later by us. When I went back and looked at film, and our other guest is going to analyze that film later. And welcome. We're really happy to have you. Thank you for all you've done for Dynasty Depot. And we're really excited to have you as co-host tonight.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I'm excited to do it. I mean, you guys are a great company. I wouldn't put my Taco Corporation name behind anybody else that didn't have a great product and a great service. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be here and excited for it. So
yeah, being the majority stockholder, to have a man of your stature on the show is very important to us. So you as the co-host tonight are going to be a little busy tonight. We're going to talk some football. We're going to talk some rookies. But if you would bring in my partners in crime, it would be wonderful.
That would be great. I can definitely do that. So let me introduce the co-hosts here. First, I'm going to start with a little special one I don't think Nelson knows about. He's a man who needs no introduction, but Heather and I decided to do a little reverse intro tonight.
Uh-oh.
So he's a man who told you, me, and someone to shoot fish in the dark or a few episodes ago. He's a man who's the glue that holds the show together every week. He is the draft guru, Mr. Nelson Verbit.
I am. Thank you for welcoming on, Jeremy. I appreciate you bringing me on. I've been wanting to be on this show for a long time, brother, just to be sitting next to you.
We wanted to do a little reverse intro. You never get one, so I thought I wanted to be the first one to give Nelson a little intro. So
it's great, brother. Bring in the crew.
All right. First, there's a man who replaced the green screen with his new invention, the gray wall. And that's right. And a man whose silence shouldn't be confused with his fantasy genius. He is Ruthless Rick Taylor. Welcome, Rick.
Hey, thanks, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
Good intro, man. You're cut out for this.
Thank you. I got to get a little we are.
We are, buddy.
Okay. All right. Who else coming in tonight?
Well, the next one, she's the light. She is the light of sunshine on a cloudy Dynasty Depot day.
Correct.
And the girl is both white as a ghost and midsummer tanned all in one show due to her trick lighting. She is Fantasy Heather.
Yeah,
that is so funny. It is so funny.
Welcome, Heather.
Goes.
When I wanted to do tricks, though, it doesn't. It only does tricks on its own. So
it's random, yeah.
It is.
It really is.
So we got some.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Tonight.
You're welcome.
Cool stuff. We got a great guest. Before we bring him in, we're sitting with some of the Dynasty Depot masters at this current setup. So the Masters, Heather, is a high-stakes league set up by Dynasty Depot with the best players in the industry that you know, and we're going to start having them on. But this week, the draft picks were randomly generated, and Rick, being the host, you would think we would have had 101 since it's our tournament, right?
You would think. I
Well,
guess
Then
that's
it
not
would
the
have been
case.
fixed.
Well, somehow the Taco Corporation donated millions of dollars to Dynasty Depot, and somehow the 101 was drawn out.
That's right, fellas. That's right. You got to know people in high places. That's how you get those 101 picks. You know what I mean?
We got 102 though, Nels. Did we get that much?
We did. We tried to play cool,
113.
109-ish or something like that. But what we're going to do is, coming up after our mid-season suspension break or Bahamian break or Aruba break, whatever direction that we're heading here, we're going to be bringing in some of the players, and we're going to be talking draft strategies as this draft goes on, and we're going to be talking some trades so the public can get a real look at what goes on in a high-stakes draft with the big boys, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it, actually. It is. So, Heather, as usual, this show is brought to you by, I believe, Dynasty Depot?
So, yeah, actually, episode 8 of Live-ish is brought to you by Dynasty Depot, the world's only auction site for buying and selling FFPC Dynasty teams. At Dynasty Depot, you buy your favorite players, buy teams at a discount, and sell your teams for profits. Over 500 Dynasty fanatics, over 1,000 teams sold, so you're sure to stay busy in the offseason. So go to dynastydepot.com, as low as $49.95 a year, and we do have promo code tonight, LIVE, L-I-V-E, for 50% off any annual membership. So head to dynastydepot.com and join in on the action.
Awesome, Heather. Join in. 400 or 500 of your favorite FFPC Dynasty players are already joined in, and seems like a lot of fun. I think Dynasty Depot is a good idea, right, Rick? I think it's all working out just fine.
Absolutely.
Oh, I have a viewer comment. Oh, hey.
Heather's hair is on point.
Nice.
That viewer was obviously not in the pre-green room show that Heather and I had. The hair was a problem, but we'll talk about that later. So our guest tonight, he is somebody that is going to break down the rookies for us. We're going to play Who You Got with this guy, and we're going to get loads of rookie information tonight. He is the gridiron scholar himself, Mr. John Laub. Welcome, friend.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I didn't know that I'm the last guest of the halftime of your brand new show, so I'm honored to be on here before your Bohemian vacation. Just make sure you come back.
Correct. It doesn't matter when we come back, but we will be back. So, brother, before we get into a little interview from you, like I'm always like a little crotchety, and Rick's always a happy guy, and Jeremy looks thrilled tonight, and Heather's playing with her hair, and so we do a little thing called What the You Know What. So we're going to go around the room because I like to start off the show in a nice downward spiral about things that are just aggravating people right now, because I got something that's just aggravating the shit out of me, and I can't wait to say it. So I'm going to go around the room. We always start with Fantasy Heather. Heather, what the blank is bothering you tonight?
So I feel like we need to adapt to things. Like, I don't understand why we still have daylight savings. Like, I need to wear sunglasses to cover my bags tonight, Nelson, because I'm so tired.
But you look like Hollywood Heather now. I like, that's a good.
Oh, should I change my name to Hollywood Heather? I like that, actually.
You might. Not happy with daylight savings. Heather doesn't know.
I'm not happy with daylight savings. I'm like, WTF, what was it for? For farming? Is that why we started daylight saving? Like, is that what it still is for? Or is it just to mess with us and make us have to wear sunglasses because now we all have bags under our eyes? That's
that
it.
Hour obviously had a big hurting on Heather there. Ricky, what's bothering you, buddy?
What's bothering me is that our co-host, Fantasy Heather, watches hockey during our podcast on a football podcast. I cannot understand how fantasy football takes a backseat to the Flyers.
Rick Taylor, this just in. Flyers up 5-4. I swear to God.
Right. If you remember back to high school, Jeremy, college, stuff like that. I mean, hockey's basically a club sport. It's not even a verified. On Friday night, do you go watch football or let's go watch the hockey club play?
Definitely.
Am I bouncing you out of this show right now? You're one click away.
Yeah,
you're one click away.
Forgot you had the button. Jeremy, what's bothering you?
Well, what's bothering me is I'm going to keep it to fantasy football a little bit. It's the FFPC message boards. I get a lot of this recently with a lot of trades going around with the roster cuts coming up here at the end of the month. Guys will send out, they'll post on the message board different players they want to trade and a different value or a different round that they want for that player. So then I'll send them a trade offer with that round pick that they want or that player that they want, and then they'll decline it and say that's not enough, or I want this instead, and they'll come back with something crazy. So if you're going to put it out there that you want a 6th round pick for Tom Brady, and I send you a 6th round pick for Tom Brady, honor the trade. Do what you put on the message board. It's only been a couple of days. It's not like I wait a month to send you a trade offer. So that always grinds my gears. If you're going to put something out there, follow through with it.
It's annoying. I like it. Gridiron Scholar, what could possibly be bothering a man like yourself these days?
That Nelson Aguilar and Corey Davis signed contract before Kenny Galladay. Are you smoking crack, the GMs out there? I'm sorry, but Kenny Galladay should have a contract. I mean, please. What are you talking about?
John, so are you telling me and nobody likes the Pats, but if you're a Pats fan and you waited all free agency and now your receivers, by the way, to the tune of like $48 million, 5 years, $48 million, is Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. Are you telling me that's a problem?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Or you could have had Galladay. Please.
Galladay Juju, right.
I mean, come on, man.
Oh, man. So I don't know how I'm going to beat that because that is pretty good.
John, you're cut out for the WTF section, buddy.
That was
right up your alley.
By the way,
I think he has to be a regular on the WTF.
Calling for WTF right there.
Just to do the WTF section every
Just
week.
the WTF.
Then boot me out.
So I'm going to tell you what bothers me, and I'll throw it out to Rick and Jeremy. You get a trade offer. What are the worst 2 words you've ever seen on a trade offer?
Man.
How about so say somebody wants Kenny Galladay, right? And you get these 2 words. You know what I want to put the finger on? Price check. Price check. Don't send me something that says price check. I'm not fucking Kmart, all right? I'm not checking my prices. Send me an offer. I'll be happy to respond to you. Dude, I mean, I got a guy for that. The price check guys in the supermarket. I got a guy that, like, I can't handle when they don't bag my goddamn groceries. Right? I don't feel like I should have to do that. I'm buying shit in your store. I don't need to give you a price check. Give me a real offer. Anybody got a problem with that?
Well, the problem you're going to have now is you're going to have a lot of incoming price check requests.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm just picturing you with a scanning gun like you see in the store going around price checking stuff.
Right. Price check. Kenny Galladay. Price check.
You know he's going to have 102 in his email
Oh,
box.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Iron Scholar. Juju, give me a price check. That shit. Let's go to work, guys. Let's go to work. John, we need to find out more about you. Heather, let it go, kid.
All right. So, John, you have been in fantasy football for
33 years.
22
years. 22 years with the Football Diehards. Maybe 23. I haven't counted lately, but somewhere's in there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, tell us about your fantasy journey. I want to know, like, where.
Sure. Great question. I was working at Norwalk Parks and Rec. I was living with 2 good friends, and we drove into work together, one of the guys and me. And there was a book by Cliff Carpentier in the 80s, which was like Fantasy Football Digest. and he was a Giants fan. I was a Broncos fan. And we said, did you ever see this book, Fantasy Football Digest? And he said, yeah. And he drove because I didn't have a car at the time. And we drove into work, and I said, we should start this. I read the book, and I'm like, we should start this damn league. So I started in 1989 with 9 of my friends when we were in college. But what really got lucky, in 1993, I played in a salary cap league, and it was by a company named Sports Challenge. And they used to do fantasy basketball, baseball, football. But they also did like Wall Street games for high schools and colleges for business majors. And every player had a salary cap. It was $59.99 to enter. I beat 15,000 people and I won $10,000 in 1993. And that's when I met Emil Cadillac at footballdiehards.com like 2 years later. I advertised in his magazine. I had my own newsletter back then. I sent it out by mail, sent it out by fax. And then about maybe 2-3 years after that, I met Bob Harris because him and Emil put their Bob was doing his thing, Emil was doing his thing in the magazines. They put them together, and I've been with them ever since I did like player rankings for like 19 years for them. And then I switched over to DFS, and I do stuff in their magazines and stuff like that. So that's my journey. I mean, I still have that original league. Out of 10 members, there's 5 of us for 33 years that played. And damn it, I lost because of Derrick Henry in that bad game in the play. He sank my team. I had Derrick Henry. Oh, and I lost in the playoffs because he had, I think, 15 or 16. He had a bad game. I got to ask
you a question because, you know, your buddy Bob Harris was on the show a couple weeks ago. And you guys are pretty tight, right?
Oh, yeah, great guy. Him and Emil are great. And Mike, yeah.
Yeah, so were you by chance, because he left and just one thing rings through my head that he was on that airplane with Motley Crue going across the country.
Oh, I wish I was on. No,
were you on that airplane, man? Because I take all the side info I can get of what happened on that plane that night.
I wasn't. I unfortunately have never met the crew. While I did like the crew, and I actually saw him on the Shout at the Devil tour in Connecticut. It was either Hartford or Connecticut. Must have been, 84, 85? So, I mean, that's how I actually have the original Shout the Devil on vinyl. You know, I can't believe people now collect vinyl. I bought that album on vinyl. When they weren't even a major label. I think they were, they used to have like these, what do they call them in the old days? Minor labels are exactly what, but before Crew, Metallica made it big, I had the original labels, the vinyl that they were on. But I forgot.
See, let me tell you something. You see what's behind Rick right there?
Yeah.
That's for the people, because this happens every show. Somebody quotes a city and a town. That's for the people that didn't realize that Hartford is in Connecticut. You know, so Rick can point that out just in case.
Yeah.
This is where it was 100 years ago.
Ricky, what do you got for our friend here?
For question time, man? We talking about rookies here?
No.
We getting into that segment?
I literally wrote it down for you. The green part is Rick.
All you have to do is read it.
Rick, read the question next to your name.
Price check.
Okay, I'll be Rick. Hold on. I'm going to see you up here. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We're deep in the maiden. We are deep in our first maiden drafts. What are your draft strategies when drafting a maiden? Are you a young team, or are you a win now kind of guy? I'll sit back and listen for the answer.
I'm a win now guy, but that's, there's no guarantee in 3 or 4 years. I'm looking to win in the first or second year when I draft a team. I'll scoff up all the value on second and third year players. I will say this. I will rarely have a rookie on a maiden team unless I think it's a Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley type of prospect. But other than that, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to scoff up all the value, and I rarely go young quarterback. I know this is contrarian, but I prefer the Kirk Cousins at dirt level prices. I'll take Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, and I'll take, it would have been Drew Brees 2 years ago. I love those second and third year values. They seem to they fall, and you can get, and then, give me a veteran who's 5 years into his career. I take those types of guys all the time.
Like Corey Davis.
You're taking, you're taking like an Aaron Jones over, what rookie would you take him? Like Travis Etienne and Aaron Jones sitting there?
I would take Aaron Jones, yes. No question. Too much risk. I mean, let's say we did it tomorrow because we don't know where Etienne lands. I'm taking Aaron Jones over Etienne any day.
That's interesting. Really interesting.
Because it's too good with Aaron Rodgers and that offense.
It's funny because that quarterback name has come up on maybe, we've been doing this show for 22, 23 years now. And that name Kirk Cousins comes up as the value quarterback in a lot of shows, Rick. You hear that name a lot.
Yeah, I do.
I have him on 2 dynasty teams. And he cost you nothing.
Yeah, right.
Nothing.
And you look back at the rankings from last year. What did he finish? Top 7 or 8?
He had to be top 10. Top 10.
Definitely top 10. I always have him as my third quarterback in Superflex leagues.
Oh, my God.
Always my third.
That's a great quarterback.
That's
third quarterback it is.
Well, let me say something that I don't understand. If people are waxing and in love with Justin Jefferson, then who the hell's getting him the goddamn ball?
That's right.
And Twitter had an erection last week when Irv Smith was getting the job. So
Right.
who's getting Irv Smith the ball?
Yeah.
Right.
And you still got Adam Thielen.
Yeah,
And
you got
Dalvin
Thielen,
Cook. I mean, how can you not like Kirk Cousins?
It's true.
I love
It's true.
Jeremy, what do you got, buddy?
Well, before Nelson gets into the rookie details here, I wanted to ask you first, do you have any good Bob Harris stories, John? Maybe you could share one with us?
None that I would feel comfortable divulging, other than the fact that he's been amazingly cool to me. Bob and Emil, both of them at Football Diehards, and Mike Dempsey have given me opportunities that I'm very thankful for. But Bob is the nicest guy to me. I don't know if you know, he's finally getting married. So he's going to be getting married very soon. If you didn't know that, he's very on the down low. He has announced it on Sirius XM. If I didn't hear him talk about it live, I wouldn't divulge that. But I have heard him tell us. Now, I don't think he's actually told us his name of the fiance. I could be wrong, but they always mention Mike, and when he's on with Mike Fabiano on the Fantasy Dirt, they will mention it once in a while. So he is getting married before the football season, because he has to get married before the football season.
Yeah. He wouldn't have time otherwise.
No, he wouldn't have time otherwise.
All right. Well, a little fantasy football question. In your drafts, what veteran guys or buys are you looking for in the later rounds? Who has like good potential value later in the drafts for any veterans?
Yeah, so I like wide receiver veteran value. So let's say I don't get Justin Jefferson. I love Adam Thielen. Right. I would take him, in a heartbeat. This might sound crazy. I love Amari Cooper. Man. I don't there's a guy who I'm like, go ahead, spend your first round pick on CD Lamb. I get it. Go for it. I'll gobble up Cooper. If anyone has an ADP, what's he in dynasty leagues? Probably third or fourth round pick. I'll take that. I'll take him all day long. If I'm looking at running back, let's see. If Aaron Jones is entering his 4th year, I probably don't want to go beyond 4th year. Maybe Miles Sanders, if I get him at the right price. He'd be entering his 3rd year. He might be dropping for me. I'm just trying to think quickly of a team.
Let me ask you, let me give you a couple guys. Do you go deep? I think this guy's a really good football player. He gets no respect. I mean, I think I got him in the 15th round the other day, like Jamison Crowder. I like
you take him in a heartbeat in that round.
I like him.
Yeah. There's tremendous value there. Yeah. I mean, I like that type of guy. I mean, if the game script and the Jets stink on a regular basis, so the game script goes his way, he should be peppered with targets. And unless they bring in a tight end who can catch the football, I mean, he's still going to be actively involved in the passing game. So I like him a ton.
Let me hit somebody hometown. What's Melvin Gordon going to do this year?
So I would probably take Melvin Gordon. That's another type of guy, but 8th, 9th round, 3rd, 4th running back, I'd be fine. We have to see if the Broncos invest A, in a draft pick, or B, a free agent. But if he's the starter, I would say 800 yards minimum, 1,100 yards ceiling, and 9 to 11 touchdowns.
Now, they did re-sign Philip Lindsay, right? They just gave him a token contract.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, and that might keep away them signing a allegedly better or drafting a running back in round 2 or 3. That would have been my fear. What if Denver drafted a running back in round 2, with a lot of high draft capital? I think Lindsay has his role on the Broncos and in the NFL, but Melvin Gordon should still get, 60 to 65% snap share? And Gordon's better in the goal line, where you do want those big touchdown days.
He is good.
Yep.
He is good.
He's good there.
He finished strong last year, didn't he?
Yep. He did, because I had him on a dynasty team. He was really good the last month of the season.
Yeah,
he was strong. Let's start getting into some rookie stuff here. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to keep it simple. Not a lot of details. We're going to play the little game that we like to on this show called Who You Got. Okay.
All right.
So we're going to throw up some people, and you're going to give me who you got. And they're all strategically placed, really just to help your host, Nelson, because I want to know this information.
Are they all rookies, or are we playing in the whole slate?
No, we're playing just the rookie class right now. We're going to play a little game, but see, I might mute Rick and the Taco Corporation out because I do go up against them a little bit. I'm looking for this information. Ready?
Yes.
Hit it, Heather. Who you got? 101. I know where you're going with this because I'm a mind reader right now, and I'm going to give you your shot after this. You like Najee Harris or ETN so far? What's your
Without question, Najee Harris. I am all in. The chips are in the table. In my last 8 years, he's the 4th highest graded running back I have. He's not as good as Jonathan Taylor as a prospect or Saquon Barkley, but Najee Harris is special, and it's his pass catching ability. I have him graded as the best pass catcher in this rookie class. He's better than Travis Etienne as a pass catcher. Don't believe what other people tell you. Watch the film. He's a better pass catcher.
Give us what you like about Etienne. How's he going to be on the next level?
Acceleration and long speed. But you need an offensive line that is going to make lanes for him. If he gets the lane, he's gone. But if you're looking for someone between the tackles on a regular basis, I think he'll be good, but that's not his game. I have him. I think he's Reggie Bush. Going to be a very good NFL player, but his ceiling to me is somewhat limited. I don't think he can get 1,800 yards from scrimmage. Maybe, but that would be his ceiling. I don't think he's 2,000 yards from scrimmage.
I'm going to throw another. Go ahead, Rick, because I'm going to get him real excited here.
I heard a comparison the other day of ETN to like a Chris Johnson type of slashing runner. Do you see anything there?
No, because Chris Johnson was special. I don't think he's in that bucket. So I don't do comparisons anymore. I call them buckets of professional outcome. ETN is Reggie Bush and Tiki Barber. That's where I think he is. His ceiling is Barber. And if you don't believe me, folks, go back, look at Tiki Barber's numbers with the Giants. They are simply insanity his last 3 years. And I think he has the floor of Reggie Bush. But I don't see Chris Johnson in his game. I think they're different players. And Chris Johnson was special tough.
Now, a little bird hit me in the shoulder. So I'm going to throw a name at you here.
Go ahead.
He's not on the screen, but I want to know. Okay. Talk to me about Javonte.
Oh, I love Javonte. He's my number 2. He can pass catch. He's big. He's strong. Lateral quickness. Second level vision. He's a perfect Pittsburgh Steeler. I am biased to the big boys. Give me someone 220 any day that can pop you in the mouth. And Javonte Williams is going to punch you in the mouth. It's still a game of physicality, violence, and strength. And I'll take that any day.
Give me a comp.
So I'm not very good with comps, but he's not Derrick Henry. That's not fair. Not Jerome Bettis. I'm trying to think of a good Steeler. I mean, he's someone who can run between the tackles, give him the ball 22 times a game. Curtis Martin with some speed, maybe.
What about Melvin Gordon?
No, he's bigger, different than Melvin Gordon. Yeah. Melvin Gordon is a slasher, lateral quickness, intuitiveness to the hole, great goal line runner. I know statistician nerds will tell you there's no such thing as goal line runner. Watch a game, there is such a thing as a goal line runner. Marcus Allen will tell you otherwise. Listen to coaches. Gordon's a goal line runner. I think he's a different type of player than Melvin Gordon. He's more physical.
Like it.
Hey, John, I got one for you, John, real quick.
Sure.
What do you think about his teammate, Michael Carter?
I like him. I think he's in a bucket with Giovanni Bernard and Duke Johnson. I think there's a limited ceiling there. I like him at a first-round dynasty.
Taco Corp is stealing thunder now. Okay. That's when the co-host oversteps his bounds. Okay. So,
I will shut up.
Like when I said roll it, Heather, I meant roll it, Heather. Here we go. I'm roping these three together because they're all getting drafted right around each other. Talk to me about it, my brother.
All right. To me, it's very simple. My number 2 wide receiver on the board is Rashod Bateman. Unbelievable ball skills. Does everything well except for top-end speed. But you can win as a pass catcher with everything else other than top-end speed. So he won't get an 80-yard touchdown like John Taylor of the 49ers. He won't Tyreek Hill you. He is in a bucket to me. He's Cortland Sutton and Juju Smith-Schuster. What I like about him most, you can play him at the Z, the X, and inside. He's a flexible piece. He can run from all 3 positions, maybe not right away as a rookie, but down the road, once he masters your offensive system, once he understands the language and the speed of the game, you can employ Rashod Bateman all over the field. Very good hands. Not great, but they said the same thing about Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton blew up his sophomore year with no quarterback. Imagine if he had a quarterback. Rashod Bateman, I'm a Bronco fan, I can say that. Rashod Bateman can beat you a lot of ways. I like big physical receivers, and most importantly, I want an X receiver who can win on the boundary against press coverage, and Rashod Bateman can do that.
Talk to me about the other 2 real quick.
Jaylen Waddle, he's better than Henry Ruggs, but I am very weary of these speed demons. I've been burnt too many times. And I'll go way back for us old guys. Johnny Lamb Jones of the Jets. If you don't know who he is, look him up. 3rd pick in the draft. He was like a sprinter at Texas, went to the NFL, could never do it. I can give you John Ross. I can give you Henry Ruggs. I had Ruggs at number 6 on my rankings last year pre-draft. I thought he was the most overrated wide receiver in the draft. Waddle's better than Ruggs, but I am weary. He's not as big as like Rashod Bateman, and he does rely on these unbelievable home runs and his speed. Rondell Moore, my concern about him, he's very small. You have to know what you're drafting. He is a slot receiver. He cannot play the X.
No.
I doubt he can play the Z. So what does that mean? His ceiling is capped. He's probably at best a 1,200-yard receiver on 90 catches. And what really concerns me, look at his targets. They're with 90% of them are within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. And 2, Purdue literally schemed an entire game plan to pepper Rondell Moore with targets. They do not do that with a slot receiver in the NFL. You are not Jamison Crowder, who you mentioned, my friend. The Jets do not go into the offensive game plan and say, we're going to get the ball to Jamison Carter 13 times a day because you're going to lose. Right. You have to understand what Rondell Moore is.
Let me ask this. Mecole Hardman?
Better than Mecole Hardman because he's tougher. And Mecole Hardman is not a guy who's going to go in the middle of the field. Rondell Moore is going to be a good player. Maybe a Golden Tate. That's his ceiling in my book. A Julian Edelman bucket. Julian Edelman, Golden Tate. Okay. But you're not hitting the home run in my book.
Okay. Roll it, Heather. Unless Taco wants to blow something else up on the next screen.
I'm not going to do that. I've learned my lesson.
No, you're not. Here we go. Now, these guys are in Nelson's bucket being drafted right around the same spots. Ricky, you're liking this, right? This is good stuff.
I am. I always have.
I know you are. Rick might even rewatch this show here.
I'll tell you where I'm going.
And he's writing all the shit down.
I am.
Talk to me about these guys. They're going right around the same time in all the maiden drafts.
I'm probably a little contrarian. I'm Terrace Marshall. I think he can be the alpha male. The best outcome is the alpha male as an X receiver. I don't think it's likely, but he could be. Kadarius Toney to me is an inside ant/slot receiver. He's good. He's explosive, but late breakout age bothers me. He also is playing on a team with Kyle Pitts. Please, no one was stopping Kadarius Toney with Kyle Pitts on the football field. Right away, your defensive coordinator walks in the room and says, see that man, Kyle Pitts? We're going to have 3 guys on him. Hey, coach, what about Toney?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. So he benefited clearly with Kyle Pitts. Now, I like Toney. I think he has a nice career ahead of him in the NFL. But Terrace Marshall, let's think who this man played with. Jamar Chase, most people's number 1 wide receiver, including my own, and Justin Jefferson, who just had the greatest season that I've ever seen in 42 years by a rookie wide receiver. He beat Randy Moss's incredible rookie season. So the young man couldn't get on the field when you got Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Jesus Christ, those guys are incredible. But when you watch the film, he's stupendous. He has the ceiling of the Alpha X receiver. And I'm betting on that when I'm doing a dynasty rookie, any type of fantasy draft.
Love it. Heather, roll it. This is a good one. Taco, do you want to introduce this section here? you already blew the whole section up. Talk to me about Taco's bucket of running backs here that are all going similar spots also. Hello,
I'm waiting for Taco to say something. I don't know.
I love Michael Carter and Chuba Hubbard. So they're 2 right there on the screen, and I think Carter could be just as good as Javonte Williams in my book. So I'm kind of biased, and I'm going to be looking to draft him. I'll probably have Michael Carter in just about every league I'm in. So
Carter might be the better value.
Right.
He would be the better value. I have Javonte Williams at 2, Michael Carter at 5, just to give you an idea.
Right.
Chuba Hubbard 7, Trey Sermon's 9. Now, some people like Trey Sermon more than I do. I see a wide variety of perspectives on Trey Sermon. I have some concerns about injuries, never really doing it. Now, we've seen players in the past who've had good college careers, but their game transitioned to the NFL better. I do see hints. If you want to watch the Northwestern game when Justin Fields did not play to the top of his game, Trey Sermon was unbelievable with over 300 yards. So you see the ceiling with him. He was very good in the semifinal game against Clemson. Really I do think the game changed when he got hurt against Alabama. I still think they would have lost, but I think the game might have been closer with Trey Sermon. I like him. But, man, how come he just never became the guy? He was never the guy. Now, we've seen players make it in the NFL who are not the guy in college. I do like his feet. Very sweet feet. For a big man, he might be LeGarrette Blount with a little more speed. And LeGarrette Blount lost his speed immediately at the NFL level. I mean, he lost it quick. Because when you see LeGarrette Blount in college, he's got some quickness to him. But it went in the NFL. Trey Sermon has that. Michael Carter, look, I like him. He's probably a better value. But my question is, I don't think he can ever carry the football 150 times. He's probably 100 carries, 50 to 60 receptions. You want to maximize his touches. And look, he's dynamic. He can be special. Put him in space. He's great. But I think he would be best in a rotational system, I think, where he maybe has a 50-50 workload. Now, Chuba's the home run. He could be a 2,000-yard rusher. If you want to know something, I actually think he's a little bit more like Chris Johnson. When he gets the lane, he is gone. Now, a couple things happened that are important at Oklahoma State. They lost 4 offensive linemen between 2019 and 2020. So his offensive line was bad. Then they get hit by COVID. So you have a new offensive line that doesn't get the practice together. And then Hubbard had a tough off season with the head coach. I'm not going to get into it. You can look up what Hubbard and the disagreement him and his coach had. So I think they went into the season. The two of them weren't exactly eye to eye, and the season got away from them, and Chuba had a down year. Now, is he tough enough with a good enough vision? I question his vision between the tackles. When you see him at Oklahoma State, that offensive line 2 years ago, the partying of the sea.
Right.
Boom, and then he went. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be dependent on the offensive line and the system in front of him. But he's the home run grand slam.
Love it. Heather.
Who's your number 4? Who's your number 4?
I'm very bizarre, but I'm going to stick to my guns. Jamar Jefferson, Oregon State. I'm a huge Jamar Jefferson guy. If he's a 3rd-round pick in your dynasty draft, you take him in a heartbeat. I'm to the fantasy gods. Let him land in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan.
Smoke and Joe are on the same page here, man.
He's a one-cut runner. I mean, he has exactly what look at. And Shanahan might like another guy. You never really know what the Shanahan's like.
That's true.
But they do like one-cut runners, and that's what Jamar Jefferson is.
Heather, roll back one more since they snuck one in. I'm going to sneak another one in here, dude. What about Gainwell?
I am a little concerned here. You want to hear something crazy?
I do. I swear to God, I do.
I hope I explained this well enough. But here's my notes. I just haven't put it on Twitter yet. I studied the group of 5 running backs for the last 3 years. What I did is I then counted up how many group of 5 running backs finished amongst the top 24 in PPR scoring for the last 3 years. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 72 players who had, a top 24 season. Now, some players repeated, but you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Guess how many were from the group of 5? Percentage-wise. Take a wild guess percentage-wise. Group of 5, not power 5. Throw out a number.
20%.
I think it's low.
19. You the man, Rick. 19. Now it gets better. 3 of them were undrafted. Austin Eckler, James Robinson, and J.D. McKissick. If you take out those 3, you have a 13% chance from being a power 5 running back and making it as a top 24. And my friends, do you really love the 20th running back in PPR scoring?
No.
Right? So what does that tell me? between Jared Patterson and Kenneth Gainwell, the odds that one of them make it are astronomical. And we still don't have an actual weight on Kenneth Gainwell. We have to get that. Do I like the film? Yes. Do I like the pass catching ability? Yes. He's my 6th rated running back. But his odds of being a top running back are slim to none. 13% technically.
Plus, he sat out all last year too.
I don't even know really how to analyze that.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So here's what I've learned doing this study. And I might go back for the last decade, but I did it 3 years yesterday. Invest in the Power 5 running backs early and get them. If you have a Power 5 running back in the 4th round, and for whatever reason, you're debating between a Power 5 and a group of 5, take the Power 5, my friends.
Nice.
It's that simple.
Heather, roll us a couple tight ends here. Since we play in the FFPC, we're 1.5 tight end premium. Tight ends are very important to us.
You got to go to the home run, Brevin Jordan. He's the home run guy. Freiermuth's the better overall tight end. Better blocker, better in the short game, bigger body. I get that. But if you're looking for the dynamism, you're looking for the huge upside, the playmaker who can get down the seam, beat the safety. He can run outs. It's Brevin Jordan, but there's more risk. He does have some injuries in the background. That's a concern. That's why I actually have Freiermuth ranked higher. If you're conservative, you go Freiermuth. If you're going for the home run, you're going to go Brevin Jordan. I have him 2-3. Jordan, if he hits his athletic ceiling, could be special.
I like it. Thanks, man. That's what we got and who you got. We're going to move on to our next segment. Awesome. That's awesome information. So we're going to run through each position here, me and the guys. You're going to give me a sleeper, a rookie sleeper.
Oh, a rookie. Okay.
I want a rookie sleeper that we really haven't talked about, or maybe it's somebody that's a sleeper that we have talked about, and that's your guy. Quarterback, who's a rookie sleeper?
I'm going to go with the guy no one likes, but he has basic athletic ability, and he has legs. Sam Ehlinger of Texas.
Wow.
I think he's going to be a 6th-round pick. He was disappointing at Texas. I'm not going to give you Kellen Mond. That name's too popular. Yeah, it's too popular.
Yeah.
If you study Sam Ehlinger, he is better than Tim Tebow, but he's in the Tim Tebow bucket. If he gets with the right coach and probably sits for a year or two and can learn the NFL game and the speed of the game, he has the NFL body of a dual threat running back. He doesn't have the greatest arm, but it is better than Tim Tebow's. He is built like Tebow. He's a big guy. He has a good enough arm, not something you're going to write home to grandma about, not something you put on clips, but he can get the ball down the field. But he could earn you the points with his legs. Like, he might be a perfect guy to sit behind Jalen Hurts. Like, that's the type of guy you get for nothing, and then you sit him behind Hurts, and you don't have to change your offense because he is almost Jalen Hurts light. You just let it, I don't understand why teams don't get similar backups. Like, if you have Lamar Jackson, you can't draft Davis Mills. He's a pocket passer. You got to draft the dual threat so your offense doesn't change. If you're Philly, get a dual threat quarterback who's going to cost you.
Our owner, Mr. Laurie, has told us that we are a quarterback factory. So
I don't know about that. But okay.
Well, that's what he told us. We're a quarterback factory. So I'm assuming Sam Ehlinger, maybe just bring him into the factory because we manufacture him here. Give me a tight end sleeper.
I'm going to go with Kenny Yeboah out of Mississippi. Kenny Yeboah has the high-end athleticism. Could be Evan Ingram, and I'm not saying it because they both went to Mississippi. If you know Yeboah, he started at Temple. What I like about him, if you know college football, You can't get on the field of tempo if you can't run block. Period. You are not playing football at tempo if you can't run block. Because basically they have 3 plays, left, right, and up the middle. Temple runs the football. So Kenny Ebo has that physicality, even though he's a little undersized. At least he can engage in the run game. And then he went to Mississippi, and he was great at the SEC. So, and what made him so good was he was a pass catcher, which I did not expect. So you're taking a young man who stepped up. I mean, to go from the American Athletic Conference at Temple, go south to Mississippi, and then become a pass catcher, that's a pretty amazing leap. So the athletic upside is there. He's my long shot guy, Kenny Yebo.
I like it. I like it a lot, being from Philly and Temple.
Yeah, you know, he was good at we know to get on the field, you got to run block in the NFL. Then the catches and the snaps will come.
Go ahead, Jeremy. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I got the rookie wide receiver sleepers, but I got one I want you to specifically hit on, John, and that's Cornell Powell out of Clemson. I heard he did really good at the pro day, Clemson's pro day. So I wanted you to hit on him a little bit, and then if you have another rookie wide receiver sleeper too.
I'll give you – I do like Powell, but it's all going to be on draft capital.
Okay.
There's a chance that he could be an undrafted free agent.
Okay.
But he could be a 6th-round draft pick. He's outside of my top 20. And in general, the NFL draft, if you go the last decade, they draft like 20.35 wide receivers. So there's a chance that he gets drafted, but it's going to depend on if a team likes him. I question – he was very late breakout star. I don't think he has the X or the Z. And then I think he could be a 4th or 5th wide receiver in the best case scenario. He's a guy I like. I'm going to watch him in the draft, but I have more questions than answers with him. And let me give you a sleeper, Jeremy. Yeah. His teammate, Amari Rodgers.
I love him. I have
him in my top 12. Yep. He is Golden Tate. He's Golden Tate. Yep. I think Amari Rodgers might be a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
I think an NFL team's going to love his toughness. He's over 210. He's 5'10". He can play inside in a 4-receiver set or in the slot. You can put him in jet sweeps, in motion. He's physical. He's nasty. And when people say he didn't break out, my friends, have you looked at the goddamn Clemson depth chart?
Right.
Please. The only people better than Clemson at wide receiver are LSU and Oklahoma. That's why the young man didn't break out. Higgins was there, and Justin Ross would have been the number 1 wide receiver possibly if he didn't hurt his neck. I mean, come on. He's unbelievable. I mean, he can play in the NFL.
Yeah. Plus, he ran a 4.4 at his pro day too, which was phenomenal.
That to me cemented him in my top 12.
Yeah, I'm drafting him everywhere. Everywhere I draft this year, I'm going to be having Amari Rodgers. So just FYI.
I was going to cut this shit. So I'm just going Seth Williams.
You know what the problem with Seth Williams?
You're gonna fucking tell me. I know that.
No, for one, now he suffered from terrible quarterback play. So I get it. I saw Auburn. Bo Nix is Bo Nix. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But Seth Williams, man, I don't see it. I don't know how people have him in their top 8. I'm like, did you watch the tape? He has bad hands, gets 0 separation. He doesn't look like the alpha male. He doesn't play with that swagger. Like if he had Amari Rodgers swagger and anger, Seth Williams.
Johnny, look at me, my brother. Look at me. Seth Williams.
Cross him off the list.
That's gone.
I mean, I've read people who have him in the top 8. I have him at number 17. You know, what is it? What is the old term my dad used to say? Roars like a lion, plays like paper. I mean, it's just like he looks the part, but watch the film. Please watch the film. Big body, athleticism. When you watch Auburn, Anthony Schwartz pop more than him. I just never – and here's the funny thing. I had 2 years ago in my Debbie, I was super high on Seth Williams. but I'm willing to change my perspective. And after watching it for 2 years, I'm like, I'm done.
Hey, Rick, I will never bring up Seth Williams on this goddamn show ever again. Just out of my nigga health to keep it right. He's sweating. I didn't mean his shit. Go ahead, Rick. Talk about the RBs.
Everybody's looking for the RB sleeper, right? You want that guy who's going to put you over the top in the late rounds. We talked about a lot of them. Who have you seen that you like?
So we won't talk about Jamar Jefferson because I love him. He's my number 4. Khalil Herbert is very interesting. I do like Chuba at his cost. If you get Chuba in the 3rd round for the potential upside, I think you need to do it. And I'm going to take Chuba over like a group of 5 running back. But I like Khalil Herbert. He does everything well. He isn't great at anything. I do think he's the type of player who could have a 4 or 5 year NFL career in the right landing spot. Given an opportunity, he might take something and be able to do with it. He's better in between the tackles than people think. He's better pass catcher than people think. He went from Kansas, which we now know is a disaster, after not only was Les Miles 3-18, we're not even going to talk about the other crap that man was doing. And I'm an educator, so I can say that. And then you end up going to Virginia Tech in COVID, and he blew away that program at Virginia Tech. So he showed me a lot going from Kansas to Virginia Tech. If you want a guy who's going to cost you nothing with a possibility, and then the other one would be Larry Roundtree. I like Larry Roundtree. He, again, another player who does well at everything. And I can't overlook, I think it was his freshman year, he had almost 1,200 yards rushing in the SEC. When you do that at a young age in the SEC, you got something. You got something. He hasn't hit the ceiling. Missouri kind of fell apart. They haven't been as good. But those are 2 guys who I'm going to look very deeply at landing spot, and I like them.
What about Hill at Mississippi State?
So he's the home run guy. He could lead the NFL in rushing. Now, it might be a 1% chance. But he could also be out of the league in 2 years. But the film work from 2019, Kylan Hill was great. I had him in my Debbie rankings. I think I had him in my top 5. Obviously, what did he play? 3 games this year. He had 1 game with like 15 catches, and then he just called it quits. I don't think he fit in with Mike Leach and Mike Leach's system at Mississippi State. It was a very bad oil and water type of thing. Did not work out. We got to see what the NFL thinks of Kylan Hill. If he's a 4th round pick, I'm a little interested. If he falls in the 5th or 6th round, then you just kind of say, the NFL thinks he's a guy. We're going to have to wait around. If he gets in the 3rd round, then I'm really awoke with him in the 3rd round. Because in general, 3rd round running backs get opportunities at some point.
Right.
At some point. But if he's the 6th, 5th round, then but I do like him. He was so good in 2019. I think he led the SEC. No, he didn't. Who led the SEC in rushing in 2019? But he might have been like he was up there, 1,370 yards in 2019.
It's awesome.
So, John, I got a follow-up on that. That's great stuff. So, say you're sitting 3rd, 4th round. We talked about the receivers. Everyone's saying it's a pretty deep class. There's some running backs that you like. Are you taking a shot at some of these 2nd-tier backs? You think they have the talent to make it in the NFL, or are you sticking with the receiving core that people are thinking is a little deeper and you have more security with those picks, safety?
So it would depend on roster construction, but I'll say this. All things equal, I'm going for the wide receivers. I'm going. Okay. If I can get De'Ami Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, if I can, I'm just trying to think quickly who else might be there. All of a sudden, I was just doing these guys. If I can get Tylan Wallace.
How about Seth Williams?
Cross them off the list.
I'll say this. 7th round, 14-team league. Seth Williams is there with the 9th pick. Okay.
I got to tell you.
You're going receiver. You like the depth then. You think there's a lot of talent.
I do. And here's what's going to happen. We know like these receivers who are rated between 9 and 15, 1 or 2 of them are going to hit.
Right.
And if you get that guy in the third, fourth round, you've hit gold.
Right.
The running back odds are just so much more challenging to deal with. But if you're desperate, like if your team just lost LaShawn McCoy and you have Leonard Fournette, I mean, maybe you have to roll the dice. But all things equal, I'm going with those wide receivers.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay.
I was just going to say, if I saw a lot of comments coming up about John here, and he's doing a great job. If you guys want to go and see the rookie big board, John does a great job with Matt Hicks breaking down all these players. You can get, it's like an 8 to 13 minute clip on YouTube. And I mean, he just does a great job, phenomenal job breaking all these guys down. So rookie big board, you check that out on YouTube. It's some really good stuff. I've watched those. I've probably watched some of them 3, 4, 5 times. So as you're going over it, I mean, I can just see it, all the videos and clips coming up as you guys are talking about. So it's phenomenal stuff. John can go all day, and he's great. He's great. I followed him for years.
That very much.
Great.
Yeah, we do 5 shows a week. We have 30 shows up right now, and we're going to go all the way till April 24th. I think that's the last Saturday before the draft. So we'll have 48 to 50 players up there before. And our draft shows the rankings.
You're not like us taking your mid-season vacation after 8 shows. We're exhausted.
8 shows is a lot. We need a vacation.
We're exhausted. Heather, we got anything from Twitter for this young man?
Yes, you do. Although John kind of hit on this already, so this might be more for you guys. When did y'all start playing fantasy football? Favorite team, favorite player?
Oh, I've been playing for probably about 15 years now. I've been playing. I started out with just 2 leagues, and then I started getting into Dynasty probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and now I'm up to about 20 teams, and 15 of those are Dynasty teams. So, and I keep building. Now that I got Dynasty Depot, I'm out there bidding on teams left and right at Dynasty Depot, buying teams for like $50 that are $500 teams. So wow. I'm out there just buying them up, and you never know where it might go from there. But yeah, my favorite team, as you can tell, is the Washington football team. I actually said it right. Usually I say the R word because I'm so used to saying it. But I love the Washington football team, and my favorite player of all time is John Riggins, being a Redskins fan. I love Riggo. Fire up the diesel. Crank up that diesel. So I love him. I'd say nowadays it's probably Terry McLaurin if I had to pick a present player. So I love him. He's great.
Ricky, how about you, buddy?
Oh, man, I started playing fantasy football in college a couple years ago.
I was going to say, what was it, 30 years ago?
It's probably about the same time you were there. We were doing stats with, we're doing USA Today stats back then.
Yeah.
Pen and paper.
Yes, sir.
But now favorite team, Penn State and Pittsburgh. I'm a Penn State guy, so Barkley, and you go back a little further, Allen Robinson, Michael Robinson. Those are some of my favorite players.
And I am sure you can see behind the Super Bowl champion pictures of Philadelphia Eagles a couple years back, that I was fortunate enough to attend with a buddy of mine. And I think one of my favorite players, it's actually my wife's favorite player, but man, just the dynamic Terrell Owens was just, man, he could just light it up, man. T.O. could just,
man.
You got your popcorn ready?
Football's entertainment, it's for me. I started playing fantasy like 10 years ago, and I'm the idiot that started Dynasty Depot with Rick because I had 82 Dynasty teams last year. It became a little cumbersome. How the hell am I going to get rid of this shit? Let me start a company over a couple bottles of wine. But it's all cool, man. It's all cool.
I'll tell you, my favorite team, I started 1977, Denver Broncos, Orange Crush defense, and Randy Gradishar should be in the Hall of Fame. Why he's not in the Hall of Fame is
great player.
Is a crime. And Craig Morton, I love those two guys. I must have been 11 or 12. Love that football team.
Heather, you got anybody? Give us something, Heather. Something that doesn't have to do with like Bobby Clark from the Flyers, something like that. Don't go Bobby Clark on us here.
As a favorite player, I'm always rooting for the kicker. I feel like whoever's, the kicker, he wins it or he loses it. That's it.
He does.
Kickers matter. Kickers matter.
Hey, Jeremy, I know Jeremy will know this. The only kicker to win NFL MVP.
Good old Mark Mosley.
Mark Mosley, baby. Can you imagine a kicker in the modern NFL winning MVP award?
Well, never.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Because when I was like a kid, back when Larry Brown and Charlie Haraway were with the Redskins. I'm going old school, Rick. Forget you. You're not part of this conversation. Yeah, and I remember Mark Mosley, his number was 3, and he kicked straight on. He did not kick soccer style.
And I think he had the single bar.
Single bar, yep. Single bar
my age shit right here, Rick, pulling stuff out. Heather, any more questions for us?
So we have another one from Alex. He says, favorite move so far and a dream move.
Favorite move in the free agency? I wonder. I would say one thing. It would be Nelson Aguilar ended up with Belichick and McDaniel for what he is. If Cam comes back, and I think COVID hit him more than we knew. Look, I mean, he just was beyond awful after he had COVID.
Fell of himself.
Yeah, I mean, he was never the same this year. So I think Nelson Aguilar has upside. I don't think he'll ever be like a 1,200-yard receiver, but I think that's a good spot, a good organization, all things considered. And the dream move is Kenny Galladay with Tua Tagovailoa. Give the young man a chance to win a ball game down in Miami. Get him some receivers down there.
You guys anyone chime in here?
I'd like to see a quarterback go to Denver with all those weapons.
Oh, yeah, baby. Please give us a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, like Russ or Watson. I think that'd be exciting to watch.
Well, that'd be amazing. My son is 16, and we were talking yesterday, and he said, Dad, would you give up a 3rd-round pick for Sam Bradford? I say, in a second. In a second, I'll take Bradford.
Over Locke.
Oh, by far. I had a pre-draft much higher graded than Locke.
Jeremy.
I'm hoping for Juju to go to Washington. I'm really looking forward to seeing somebody.
They need a big time wide receiver too.
They do. Yeah. Team him up with Terry McLaurin. Get Logan Thomas there.
By the way, who would be throwing that football to those 3 gentlemen?
Hey! Don't ruin our good time here. We're having a nice dream move here. You be throwing shade on everything.
And Daniel Snyder in the 2nd round will be taking a wide receiver from Auburn named Seth Williams.
Cross him off the list. He's not on the list anymore. No. You were excited about drafting him last night too, Nelson.
I love it. Heather, anything else, or are we going bye-bye here?
That's it. Wrap us up.
Out of here. John, where the hell can we find everybody? We can find you. I know we can find everybody. We're all here. Where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at GridironSkull91. I couldn't afford the A and the R when I signed up, so it's GridironSkull91. All my written stuff is on FootballDiehards.com. I spoke about Emil, Bob, and Mike earlier tonight. See my written profiles. And Jeremy said it on YouTube. Type in the Rookie Big Board and check out. We have 30 rookie profiles right now with my teammate, Matt.
Awesome.
If you're not watching those, you're doing it wrong because they're fantastic.
Thank you.
Jeremy, where can they find and hunt the Taco Corporation owner down?
Sorry about that.
Heather, what is that?
That was nothing.
Heather, what's the score of Flyers game? Because I don't think you've even been here.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Miller88Jeremy. So I'm only on the Twitter machine. I don't have everything going on like John, unfortunately, but you can find me on Twitter at Miller88Jeremy.
Awesome. And if you would be so kind, this show, Jeremy, was brought to you by Dynasty Depot. Can you help us out with that, brother?
I sure can. Remember, go to dynastydepot.com and enter the promo code LIVE. That's LIVE. And this gets you 50% off any annual membership level. That's dynastydepot.com, promo code LIVE, LIVE, for 50% off any annual membership level. And like I said, if you're not on Dynasty Depot, you guys need to go check it out because, I mean, there's a lot of great teams on there doing a lot of good things, and I love it. So you can't get enough of it.
Thanks.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
Do they have Devy leagues on those yet, or are those not there? Like when you play these Dynasty, do they have Devy yet, or is it just Dynasty?
Just Dynasty.
Okay.
Just Dynasty. It's all we got. Heather, where can they find this fine crew at Dynasty Depot?
All right, now I'll put us up there.
There you go.
Now we'll get up there. So Dynasty Depot at the Dynasty Depot on Twitter and YouTube, and of course on Facebook and Instagram, Dynasty Depot.
Love it.
That's it.
So next week, we aren't here. The following week, we aren't here. So I hope you guys look forward to those shows. Maybe you check somebody else's show.
Oh, the 7 people watching are going to be sad.
I'm going to the Bahamas. Rick's going to Aruba. We're done with this shit. Heather's she'll run the company. And
I'll be here in Collegeville doing that.
Because this is a lot for us, to be quite honest. This is a lot of fucking work. And, I'm going to take a couple weeks off, and that's how it's going down. So the mid-season cliffhanger is we're off for 2 weeks. But we will be back. So we will be back in 2 weeks with some of the masters from our Dynasty Depot Masters League, the highest of stakes players in the FFPC. We've all joined up to be in one group where we're looking to beat the shit out of each other. And we're going to bring it on. We're going to talk about trades. We should be through a couple rounds of the draft. We're posting up for the public to make fun of the people that say they're good, that aren't good. It's going to be a no-holds-barred event, Rick. Are you excited for that?
Absolutely. It's going to be good stuff.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you very much. Again,
I'm very excited, if it matters. I can't wait for it. So
you are included, Jeremy, Corp 101. So, Jeremy, the only thing left is guest host to take us out. Get us out of here somehow, buddy.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks, Nelson and Rick, for having me, and Heather. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And remember, buy low and sell high. And peace out.
Peace out. Love.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
You've been listening to the Dynasty Depot podcast, the best source for what's hot in Dynasty Fantasy Football team action. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at the Dynasty Depot. And listeners get a 30-day free rookie membership. Go to dynastydepot.com and use promo code podcast. Dynasty Depot. Bid, buy, sell, dominate.